Thanks for staying with us. Abela said it's causing a lot of confusion in the studio today. Now, according to a publication by the Department of Vocational Education in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, technical and vocational education is used as a comprehensive term in the educational process, involving, in addition to general education, the study of technologies and related sciences and acquisition of practical skills, attitudes, understanding, and knowledge relating to occupations in various sectors of the economic and social life. Now, a publication by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization noted that the technical and vocational education helps increase citizens' potential to innovate and transform the economy and society through dynamic skill provisions. However, in Nigeria, technical and vocational jobs are largely unskilled, and practitioners learn the job through apprenticeship without any form of certification. Now, consequently, most practitioners are uneducated or semi-educated, and the fields where they operate are not captured within the formal sector. Thus, the contribution of vocational and technical skills to the economy is at best minimal. It goes without saying that improved vocational learning would have a positive impact on Nigeria, and we are asking, how can we improve this? How can we improve our vocational institutions in Nigeria? Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-8663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. Mani, I want to hear your thoughts quickly on the conversation before I bring in Diola.
Okay, so we know that vocational training is like the instructional programming, that helps a person to prepare for a particular job that requires a particular or specialized skill.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so for me, I know that we have a lot of things like people that want to train how to be technicians, even artisans, because in this part of the world, we have artisans who are not trained and thus they give us a lot of problems.
Headaches.
I want to say headaches, give us a lot of problems. So if we have more of these vocational training centers, then we'll have less issues with assistants like tailors. When we have tailors give us issues, most of the time it's because they're not well trained. We have plumbers, we have the people that attend electricians, woodwork people, even makeup artists, So I think if we, like you said when we started, if we have more of these vocational centers, it can help to boost Nigeria's economy.
Absolutely.
So, even people in school that actually went to school to study computer science, they were studying based on the theory part.
Yeah.
And they were not doing the one-on-one hands-in. So I think when you come out of school, the university, you get your degree, you come out, you still have to go and learn.
When you talked about that, I remember I had an encounter with someone that just graduated as an electrical engineer.
Yeah.
And
he knows nothing about
he has not done anything.
Yeah.
But when you spoke on makeup artists, interestingly, that particular industry has done very well.
Yes, because
makeup artists, skincare therapists, all those kinds of vocation that has to do with the beauty world, they're doing exceptionally well. Because again, I believe strongly that the brand, right? A lot of brands paid a lot of attention to building that industry. So it became so attractive that many people wanted to become, because they could see themselves literally coming out of those things and immediately earning an income.
Yes, I think so. So the different brands and then their choice of brand ambassadors. Yeah. So they actually did.
And that's why for me it was important to bring in this guest, because I know that she pays loads of attention to detail and is someone that I saw, when the thing was growing right in front of me, and this is where she is today. All right, so Diola Paul-Inyang, aka Abela. She's a Nigerian perfumer, tutor, mentor, and artistic sense curator. In case I mispronounce anything, she will correct me later. Abela interprets her world through sense, telling stories of her African perspective and human emotions through olfactory art. She is the visionary behind the Abela Center for Olfactory Art in Lagos, the first of its kind olfactory art center in Nigeria, and arguably, I got it right, sub-Saharan Africa. Wow. Abela went against traditional norms to follow her heart and nose, yes, because we need the nose for the scent, for more creative pursuits to envision the Abela scent. She is also the creative inspiration behind the Abela by Scents of Africa brand and teaches her passion for art through the Abela Fragrance Academy. And it was not an easy something, but we brought her to the studio. She's like, thank you so much. And she came bearing gifts. See the way I'm just scenting nice. But thank you so much, Diola. First of all, thank you for following your dream, seeing it through. And, you know, I know this is just the beginning. It was important for me because to bring you on board, because I realized that we keep on complaining about a lot of things. But you are one person that I have seen that even when people would, there are loads of naysayers, would this ever work? Would this do this? Would this do that? You are always, you know, you've always stood your ground to say this would work and I can prove it that it can work. For that doggedness and for the staying power, I say thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So tell us, because the last time we had you, we were just talking about challenges of small businesses. That time, this academy that we've been flashing for you has been in the pipeline, and today is a success. It's officially launched, and we're so happy to be the first hosting you after the launch. Yes, others will call you now, we know, but at least it was here first on Ways. Tell us, how has this journey been, you know, launching this, and how do you truly feel on your inside whenever you walk into this academy, knowing that lives will be transformed in this place?
Well, that's a question. Well, the journey has been quite rewarding, but if I say that it's been easy, I would be telling a big lie.
Yeah.
So it's had its challenges, and we've surmounted it, being dogged, like you said, especially in Nigeria. But I recognize no barriers. And I think that's the attitude that we all must carry.
Yeah.
When you don't see stumbling blocks, if there's a block before you, you must find a way to get out of the way. It's just that simple. And that's the simple part. But one of the things that I think that I would love to share is the power of passion. And nothing beats it. Passion, when you see a vision that is on fire, that is packed and powered by passion, it can go to lengths. There's nothing that is going to stop it. And I think that is really what we all need to embrace as we try to get on to any point of passion that we have. I think that's just as simple as it gets.
Awesome. Awesome. You know, so if we're talking about vocational school, because this is your school, you know, resemble where they go, they learn how to grind pepper.
Yeah.
You know, so because again, so this is why I brought you on the show. A lot of times when we say empowerment, when I see government doing empowerment, what I see is grinding machines.
Right.
I see keke napep.
Right.
I see sewing machines.
Right.
And I see all those kinds of things. And I've always said that we have to do it differently. We have to do it better. We can always get it better if we want to. This is supposed to be a vocational school. Why was it so important, you know, the look? Because this would easily pass, like if I close my eyes and you threw me in there, it was like I was somewhere abroad. It was not like, you know, because your typical idea of a vocational school in Nigeria, that it has to look in a certain way. And, you know, a lot of things are done haphazardly, shabbily, and with so much mediocre attached to it. And that's why you do not see a lot of people trying to say, you know what, let me keep this 9 to 5 and go and learn a skill. Because it is not attractive, right? So why did you think about doing this to this kind of standards? Because I know it's not small money that's entered that place.
It's interesting that you say that, because I'll take it from two perspectives. One, when you say that a lot of the vocational initiatives that have been thrown in have been, let me use the word substandard. And I say that with every caution. Or it feels like it doesn't carry some high-end standard, as it were. But I think it has to do with the reflection of the people that we're also trying to reach out to. And ironically, those are the kind of vocations that we have found very prominent within our own country. And there's a gap. And that gap is for the people who I will call the professional gap people. They're people in professions, they have careers. Many people went to school. Many of people are studying courses that they never intended to study when they were in school. They had different passions, but because they've been driven to have or run courses that they feel I will make money when I'm done, they never really run after their passion. So there are those people who have those, they're in that gap season. Yeah. You have people who are taking on jobs that they have no desire to keep on having those jobs. So I've met different people on this journey, and we found even bankers who say, I would rather be a creative than be a banker. Right. And you wonder, so why are they, in banking? I've had someone who was studying to be an engineer and pulled out of school and said, no, I'm not interested in it. I want to be an artist. And went into the artistry. And so the problem has been from the beginning. And there's a gap with these guys. And nobody's filling that gap. There are many people that are in jobs that they hate. You don't have to wake up in the morning and keep on going to a job that you do not like. It's important to follow after what your passion is. And that's why I started off with the concept of passion. And I remember I mentioned to you before the show the importance of having the right people in your circle. The people who will keep on pushing you or supporting you and being a backbone for you when you're following through with your passion. Those are very important things. Yeah. So why did I do this? I, for one, had been into a career. I've been, for the most part, a brand strategy development person. I've been in the advertising, brand communications for the most part of 15 years. And that's a long time, yeah? And when it comes to strategy, it almost comes so easy for me. But at a point, I then said, there's just more to me than this. And I've pretty much been creative from as wee high. And I still wonder why it isn't that I didn't go after the creative path. But I also feel that it had a lot to do with the culture. What should we be chasing after? What were the most important things? Profession-wise, yes. We want to be doctors, we want to be lawyers, we want to be accountants, because we've been ingrained in our mindset to think that these professions or these careers are the ultimate, they're the all and be all. But there's more. And I'm glad because the music industry is making us see differently that even music has its benefits. Football has its benefits. Just follow after the passion. So here I was shifting into a more creative path. And then I had issues in terms of, okay, now I need to do this. I don't know where to go to. So if I had to learn, I'd probably have to travel out of the country. There were no formal qualitative institutions to learn what I wanted to learn. So the first hurdle that I needed to cross was having to learn. Now, was I ready to travel at that point in time? No, I wasn't. So I had to learn myself. It took me years of failing, starting.
And using us as guinea pigs.
And using you guys as the guinea pigs. But importantly is that I'm one that I would say is blessed because I come from a research background. So being curious about things comes second nature. But not everybody's like this, right? So it became a problem for people coming afterwards to learn. And I just thought to myself, I'm not sure that people need to go through this kind of burden just because they want to learn
how to make a candle.
How to make a candle for it. But it's not just, you see, most people think that it's just making a candle and just pouring the wax. It's a lot. When you come into one of the classes that we have, you know it's actually serious business because there's a lot of maths that goes into it. So these are the fundamental foundations that proper education will give. And then we can then transition people into the vocational education. So it has to be deliberate. I've always said something about us making sure things are deliberate. So our actions need to be very deliberate.
Okay. We are coming back. Just stay with us. Right back. Now, if you just tuned in, we are having an amazing chat with Diola Paul-Inyang on improving vocational education in Nigeria. Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-8038-4663. You can also tweet at us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. I'm going to be happy all through this weekend. Manny, over to you.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the beautiful scent that we have on right now. So if I want to ask a question, let's say I'm asking for my viewers now. I'm a lawyer and I want to do something very quickly. I want to learn something else, you know, be specialized in another skill. What's the average commitment time? What do I have to give in? You know, some people tell you that, oh, going back to school, it will take too long. So if they want to learn a particular skill, what's the average commitment time?
So I would not answer that question as a given time because it's really up to the individual.
Yeah.
But anything that is worth doing is worth investing.
I was going to say Diola was the wrong person to ask that question.
Yeah, no, you know why? Because
Absolutely.
now we are in this era where they're talking about multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
So somebody already has a job and they're not looking to live in their jobs. They are just looking to be specialized in something
And
else.
adding something else.
Adding, you know.
So let me explain that craft is not something that you can say, I want to put 1 hour, and that craft is something that you need to invest your time in. Now, investing your time in doesn't mean that you need to take time off work.
Okay.
When you are passionate about something, it just oozes out of you. You don't, it's not something that you have to say, I want to put 2 hours and then I'm putting here. You realize that there are things that you enjoy doing. Cooking, for instance. You know you cook whether or not you have a job to do or you don't have a job to do. Whether you're going to work in the morning or you're not going to work in the morning, you're cooking.
It depends.
You hire a nanny.
That's if you absolutely hate cooking.
Yeah.
But if you do love cooking, people don't necessarily have to quit their jobs because they learn cooking. They just find clever ways of being creative with cooking. And there's some people's homes that we enjoy going to a lot because of their food.
True.
Is that their full-time work?
No.
But it has become a craft. It's become something that they've enjoyed. I still come back to the same point. Passion. When you love doing something, just keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. You will realize how much time you've invested in it without even realizing that you've invested time. So let me come back to the official question that you're asking, which is how much time should I put aside if I want to get into a vocational? Now, the first step is always taking the time to take courses. So we offer short courses. Yeah. So we've had a candle making masterclass that has been ongoing since 2016. Right up until now, we've turned out over 150 students that have passed through the class. And it's interesting that during the season that they're in class, maybe 3 days, they're involved in it. Like, they are so involved in the process. The last class that we had students even say they didn't know when the time passed from 9 to 5. They didn't know. And that's what happens when you're enjoying something. So I don't want people to think that there's a certain amount of time that you want to put in it. Just enjoy whatever it is that you want to do and just keep on doing it every time you have.
So Diola, you know, what you have churned out is for the people that are like me. I want to be smelling heavenly every day. You want to have a home that smells really good. You know, your room fragrances, your scented candles and everything. But there are other kinds of vocation, right?
Absolutely.
Or vocational institution. Where do you think, because I'm telling you, I can bet you for free, anybody that is interested in what you do, which is sense and the craft and all of that, would definitely pick you as number one. They will not even go somewhere else, right? But how can we get more? Where do you think the government is failing, or how can we start to get more people In fact, let's forget government. Here you are an individual. So somebody that is very, very interested in carpentry, for instance, and probably is now thinking of starting an academy, like how would they get it right? You know, so that we're not bringing out substandard kind of thing, we're not part of those people pushing for mediocrity anymore.
So I think first and foremost, we need to disabuse our minds of one thing that I've found very prominent. When I started teaching, I had people ask me, why are you teaching your craft? It's your trade secret. Why are you teaching this? When we begin to see the bigger picture. Because I realized it was an industry, at the time when I started, it was an industry that was quite novel. Before you found a lot of people now coming up with different brands coming up, there were very few people that did that. But in order for a system to grow, in order for the value chain to benefit me, I needed more people in the industry. For industries that are bigger to invest money into probably creating maybe waxes, for instance, in Nigeria, we needed more people in there. In order for us to get our jars in the manner that we need it, we need more people for the jar companies to consider this is a good industry, this is a good market for me to look into. So am I going to sit in and keep on capping into the place?
And not grow?
And not grow. It's not working. So that's one. So we need to disabuse our minds of teaching and being able to pass ourselves on to others. I personally feel that I've grown more the moment I decided to just let it go and then teach and pour myself out. And we're not going to be here for long, you know what I mean? Life is so limited. We're only here for a period of time.
For a while, yeah.
What happens generational wise? A lot of the schools that you attended, a lot of the missionary schools is because somebody decided to give of themselves. And we need to start thinking like that. We need to start looking at the need points in our environment, in our circle of influence, and start taking actions. So anybody who is thinking this, think more about what can I give back? How can I pay it forward? I'm a beneficiary of very many different programs, and many of them were free. And so just imagine the impact of free on me, and then how it's going to translate to other people. And we have a better nation that way, if you ask me.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're going to
say. Okay. Some countries, like India, they actually have these vocational studies, enshrined in their normal curriculum. So what do you think about us in Nigeria also putting one or two of these vocational studies in our curriculum in every secondary school?
So whilst I see the word vocational studies, I think another thing that we need to kind of disabuse our minds about is nomenclature, what we call some things. You see, when we say vocational studies, it almost feels like it's a separate thing from the actual education. The moment we begin to see education as an ingrained system, when we're in primary school, you're teaching the children how to do home
economics,
fixing things in the home, breaking stuff. I remember when I was younger, I think this is a benefit for me. So my parents took me to the village every end of year holiday, and my grandfather was a carpenter, and he had a work shed. I just love the idea that I saw the carpenters always knocking and and all of that nails. My first project, I think I did at the age of maybe like 13 or thereabout, and I made a small stool from the guys who were working in the work shed. So you see how, if that is ingrained into the system, we are already getting our minds into vocation. If we don't do that, I tell you that we're going to lack that kind of structure in the coming years, because we are all thinking it's all about the formal work, but you will not find the plumbers anymore. In fact, we have, and myself and my husband also run a fabrication outfit, and that fabrication outfit also has artisans in quote that come to work, and many of them are older people. We ask them, Where are the younger people coming in? He said nobody wants to learn how.
Are you telling me about
to
that?
Even their children.
Anymore. They don't
Even
want
their
to.
children.
Yeah, because again, now it brings me back to why we're even having this conversation. Because nobody sees it as attractive anymore. Until we start to get a lot of people like us going to set up some of these organizations where they see, I mean, my sister sent me a picture today, a page today where she does wall designs with woodwork. This is a young girl. She's in Atlanta. She does wall designs. I'll show you the designs. Beautiful designs. So if we start, if we start to see people that are supposedly
look like
you understand, that look like you, do it. Younger people would want to work.
Representation.
You understand? The same thing that happened with farming. A lot of younger people started going into farming. It became a bit look. So you now have more people coming into it. So where do you think the government can help in all of this? Because again, you cannot take out the factor where the government will play in making this thing even bigger. Because there's no harm in having an Abela sense, for instance, all over Nigeria, where you can go somewhere and it's the same standard that you see across board. It's a lot of money, but you see, if I know what the government is trying to do, most times they try to look for poster children. It's fine, but make the right people that are the poster people. You look for the right people that will do the job. So because we can actually replicate these things with a lot of support. It might just be, you know what, we'll give you the land. Come and do a, called, set up and everything. We'll give you, make sure shipping is free for the things you're doing. Just something to get vocational schools a lot more better and more attractive for people to come in. What do you think can happen?
Can you allow me a little sarcasm? All that we want the government to do, we're not asking, please, don't give the government too much work. Let the infrastructure systems work. Simple. Just see, when the systems are working, when power is not a problem, and I don't have to think about those, what we call non-issues. Non-issues have become big issues. When I don't have to think about those non-issues, I'm free to become the best of myself to push and let the people in the private sector do the thinking. I don't know whether you get my point. Because we've done the thinking without so much help. But then, whilst I say that there's not so much help, we've also had help. Because I look at institutions like the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund,
I was going to come
which I am a beneficiary, and I'm proud to say it, because I look at the fact that they looked out. It might have been so small, right? But they put something in, and we laid a foundation on it. What I'm going to ask, whilst there's the government role, the individuals also play a major role. When you are given even a tiny bit of an opportunity, what do you do with it? So whilst we want to blame government and all of that, we all have a role to play in this. Now, I want to take you on the attraction part of things. It's interesting. This discussion is going to be a bit awry in that there was a time I remember I was having a conversation with some people, and they were saying unskilled workers. And I was like, who are the unskilled workers? The artisans were the unskilled. I said, they are more skilled than you.
Absolutely.
Because you can't do the things that they do. So first and foremost, we also, again, a lot of disabusing is required. Why do we keep on degrading, downgrading a work? I'm an artisan and I'm proud. The only difference probably is because I have a foundation, an educational foundation. So why don't we give...
That is a very big difference, my dear.
The education foundation.
Yes. So you can't say that the only difference. That's a massive difference.
But the thing is this, that is what we need, the foundation. If primary is the foundation,
let it be excellent.
That is
money.
it.
I don't have to go to the university if I know that I am going to end up being a candle maker. I don't have to go to the university, but you know
that's
what?
a point.
Let the secondary school or the primary school education, wherever I stop, let it be top notch.
That's exactly why I asked her about how the schools were going to include these vocational studies. I know what you people said about home economics. We just learned how to thread a needle. We didn't even learn how to
No, they taught me different stitches.
They didn't teach me all those things. They just know how to thread a needle, how to use a timbo and all those things. We didn't do the real sewing, and it was one of those courses.
But I did.
I did.
The school that I attended, I did. I had home economics. I also had typing. In fact, I think this was the federal government colleges of
those days.
So
things have
actually
changed.
So the problem is we need to go back into the curriculum and check, and not take things that are borrowed, right? But we need to look at things that are working for us. I often will say, and I think this is not the first time I've mentioned it, it all starts from our educational curriculum and our system.
I think so. I agree with you. I agree.
Are we teaching entrepreneurship from primary school?
Yes. I agree.
Back in the day when we were in Brownies, is it the Girls Guide and the Brownies?
Yeah.
Now it's even sounding strange. It's almost sounding
they
like
don't know anything about it.
You know, when I'm even saying Brownies now, it's sounding like it was one American school that you've probably went. But it was a Nigerian school. And I remember that we will probably sell things like maybe cupcakes or some little things.
To raise funds.
Just to raise funds. Yes, to raise funds. We understood the power of how to trade in order to raise funds for stuff. That's where we need to go back.
Education, the degradation that we are seeing in education is what is a direct translation to what we're seeing today in our world.
So we need to go back.
Let's take some comments. Let me take the discussion of vocational improving vocational institutions in Nigeria is vital because it will go a long way of correcting so many quacks of half-trained people all over posing as professionals while they are not. With improving vocational institution in Nigeria, it will help improve our country like other good countries of the world. In the United States, for instance, you cannot be seen as a barber, a plumber, a mechanic, or a carpenter without you being licensed. You see the thing? Yeah. So for that area, you will be given license to show you are qualified to do what you are doing, and the license will be renewed periodically. Do you get? So that's standardization, because it's the same issues that polytechnics are having. Meanwhile, polytechnics are supposed to be the problem solvers. The graduates of polytechnic, technical schools are supposed to be the ones building the roads, doing all of those things. University is just head knowledge. So imagine if we start to put the value where it belongs. That we are saying there is a vocational school where you go and learn electrical wiring of a house. You come out, you're certified. If anything happens, Diola, they can take back your license. Right? The government can revoke your license if something goes wrong with your profession. So you will take it seriously. You will not be that electrician or the plumber that will do a shabby work.
That's right. Why they talked about the periodic renewal.
I like yes. That so if we can get that, and again, of course, there's no harm in making the environment as decent as what we have been showing you since. But let's take your comment.
By the way, you're fired today. You're an advocate for this vocational thing. I'm going to give them your name. Good evening, my dear beautiful sisters. What are you saying? #ways concerning the idea of improving vocational institutions in Nigeria. We really need to focus more on it. Some people end up not facing and pursuing their dreams because they are forced to do things that is against their wishes and desires. So according to our guest, my dear beautiful sister Deola, people should be allowed to pursue their own dreams. If not, you cannot see the best in them. There should not be pressure on them against their wish and dreams. I have an observation. If the comments or fans are important, then it should be put into consideration. Without the comments on the show is not complete. Yesterday, the show ended without comments being taken.
Oh, sorry.
Let your guests come to the show on time so that they don't eat into the time that you used to take comments.
But we want to also beg you.
Daniel,
I know. We couldn't take, guess what? We couldn't take any comment yesterday because we were like at the nick of time.
I'm sorry. We have
to also beg you, Daniel. Your comments are pretty long. So you will need to try to shrink your comments so that it's easier to just mouth it. But if you had the final word on vocational institutions in Nigeria, what would you say? You've just started one, so we are hoping more will come.
We should have more. People should just give of themselves to give back.
Absolutely.
Right. And yes, the government, this is where the government should have platforms or plans that actually encourage more people to set up more centers like this.
Okay, sorry, let me quickly add to what you just said. While what you said makes sense, the government, if they come out and just take care of infrastructure, then it's the road is set to go. I also think that banks, because most people actually want to make investment, they don't know where to invest, so they just keep their monies in the bank, government bonds and everything. If the banks can also organize seminars, conferences that would teach people about owning vocational centers, So instead of keeping your money idle in the bank and just waiting for small commissions, you can actually tell them to invest in vocational centers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that makes. That
We
will
will
help
look
as
at
well.
that in total. But thank you, Abela. It was really tough getting you here, but finally you're here. But thank you so much. It's always a delight talking to you. We know that I'm going to visit the center very soon.
I will.
And you're
My
welcome.
pockets, my ATM. Before we go, thank you, Manny. We had a fantastic conversation.
we
Follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. You can like, share, invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. If you have a passion, I'll just quickly add, if you have a passion, today is the right time to start, right? I mean, I know Jola's story, and that's why I'm super happy to be saying it. All right, like, share, invite your families and friends to watch the show. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. Not only do African students deserve excellent universities, they deserve good elementary and secondary schools too. And then to have access to ongoing vocational and job training to ensure their skills remain as relevant as possible to African organizations. We'll see you guys live on Monday as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.